Alright, guys, welcome back. We are watching Chainsaw Man Season 1, Episode 2. Last time, well, first episode, we met Denji, our main character. He merged with Pochita, his little chainsaw dog. And I don't know, I guess he's like kind of a demon now in like a sense. I don't know. I don't know how it works exactly. And he met this creepy lady at the end of the episode after killing all the zombies from the zombie demon. The zombie devil, sorry, devil, not demon. And I don't know, he's becoming her human pet. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. But hey, his debt is gone, right? I'm kind of wondering if now, through this whole human pet business, if he is going to be in like a worse situation than before, even if he doesn't think so. But you know what? We'll see. So we're watching episode 2. You can line your own copy up with this if you want to. We are starting in 3, 2, 1. I don't like that. Her eyes are very um unsettling. He's so excited. He's so excited. Perfect. Great. Awesome. Awesome. I'm sure he's so excited. Great. No, perfect. This is just what we need. This is just what we need. Yeah, I don't know. Is his situation even that much different than when he was being threatened by like the Yakuza? Yeah, I mean, he's kind of just been thrown from one place like this to another, you know? I mean, but yeah, like her calling him a dog when he literally did like merge with Pochita or whatever is interesting. Because I don't think Pochita's dead, right? He's just like in the sight of you, whatever that means, right? Hmm. The sad thing is it's going to be so easy to manipulate him with just the basic things like I here's some food, you know? Cuz yeah, cuz he's at the bottom of the world, you know? Like yeah, yeah. Like just doing something like that is just going to yeah, short circuit his brain. Yeah, literally. Man, fuck. I mean, it makes sense. It makes complete sense, right? It's just so transparently that he's being manipulated already. Ah, God. Hmm. But you have to wonder, right? If the reason right now why it's so easy for him to be manipulated is because he's been at like the bottom of the world for so long, he hasn't had anything, right? Like the basic fundamentals of like survival, he hasn't had, right? As time goes on and he like has that stuff more, is he well, I don't know. Is it going to be harder to manipulate him in that way then, or is he going to see this lady as like his savior in a sense or whatever, and it's never going to like get better in terms of like how easy it is for her to manipulate him? I don't know. Because like you have to think for Denji when he's been at rock bottom and his life was so horrible and like his basic survival was like being threatened every day. That mentally probably like never goes away. You know, I wonder if he will ever feel like confident in his life and like the way it is, you know what I mean? Or if he always will worry about like returning to that, you know. Udon and a hot dog. Oh, I guess he is pretty tired probably. It smells that good, huh? Hmm. Sure, yeah. Became my heart. Huh. Both like kind of literally and like his heart, you know what I mean? Yeah. Wonder what she thinks about that. Really? Yeah, yeah, that like a devil would take over his body, but yet he's still here, you know what I mean? Like I imagine that's what she means. Sure, yeah, yeah. Very interesting. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, real tired. Um, being a devil has to like mean something. You know what I mean? Like we'll talk about it in the discussion. I don't know. I don't know. How long has it been since he's had food like this? Just to ask permission, man. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Great. Great. Hmm. What is your name? Makima. What? Okay. Not transparent at all, huh? Man. Uh-huh, uh-huh. I'm sure. I'm sure. In the big city. Oh, man. Oh, God. Just man, he is real easy to yeah. Alrighty. Tokyo HQ for the Bureau's Devil Hunters. Looks very very fancy. Wow. Over 1,000. So wow, so there's like competing what, like agencies for it or something? Guess it's a real career, huh? Of course, naturally. Uh-huh. I'm sure. I'm sure. So I guess my question is, it's clear that she's like manipulating him. Um the question is like why? What is she getting out of it, right? Because it's so transparent. Like, but it's like it's crazy that she could just see through him this well and know that this kind of attitude and saying the things that she does is like going to work on him. you know, Hayakawa Aki. I'm sure she's the boss. Come on, yeah. that was a. I want to look at that painting again in the discussion. He's got to earn it. Come on. Exactly. Exactly. Hmm. God, her eyes are terrifying. It's just crazy how Denji has no experience with this kind of thing at all. So like God, yeah, like saying things like that. Like I just, come on. Like imagine what this guy is thinking about Denji. Like God. Oh, kind of looks like. Oh God. Okay, maybe deserved in a sense. Maybe beating some sense into him. Oh God, maybe not. Never mind. Hmm. Okay. Why? Yeah, I mean, because I don't know. I don't know how charitable towards this guy I want to be. But yeah, Denji seems to be taking it so unseriously, you know? Deep convictions. Hmm. Well, not really, honestly. He wants to survive and have a life, you know what I mean? Hmm. Interesting. Oh, God. Nice, nice. You got him. You got him. Oh, God. It's. I suppose that's probably pretty effective, huh? Hmm. Yeah, yeah. It's like in that sense, his conviction for this actually is deeper than most people could understand. Honestly, yeah, yeah. It's like his survival. You know what I mean? Yeah, sure. Right, right. He made the promise. He has to. Poachtail wants to see his dreams come true. I, I literally, I kind of agree. Not because he's a low life, but because Makima is clearly like manipulating him. But man, he really doesn't learn, does he? That's what he said. Yeah, come on. He should have adapted his fighting style. Come on. The balls devil got his balls. Yeah, probably. They're probably fine. Okay, alrighty. What is he like the leader of a unit or something? The captain? Okay, interesting. Interesting way to phrase it, I think. He's a human who can turn into a devil. Yeah, getting special treatment. Yeah, sure. Well, that was the deal, right? That was the deal. Mm-hmm. You agreed. You agreed to that pretty much at the end of the last episode, right? Hmm. It really is. It's like his situation isn't actually any better than it was with the Yakuza threatening him, you know? I mean, yeah, oh God. I wonder what other people do think about Makima. I don't know if it's that simple, you know? Interesting. This is yet another person that she has. Yeah. Huh. Very interesting. I guess he doesn't think of it in that way, but oh God, we're making a mess. Come on. Oh yeah, you need all of this on your toast. Uh huh. Yeah, that looks really good. God, he gets a bath. How long has it been since he's had one of those, huh? What is he doing? God. No, no practice living with other people, huh? Can't really blame him. I mean, again, it's like he was at rock bottom so recently. Ooh. It's like, again, it's like he breaking out of just that like survival mode, I feel like would be very hard. Would take a while. What do we got? What do we got? What is a fiend? What's the word they're using for it? Majin? Interesting. Taken over a human's corpse. Sounds obviously it sounds similar to Dingy, right? But Dingy's a special case. Okay, yeah, that is pretty recognizable. He doesn't even have to do it, but sure. I'm sure he could just kill this thing, but hmm. Yeah, see? That was easy. Didn't need to. Yeah. Interesting. So, whoa. Hmm. Not allowed to show any sympathy, yeah, towards devils at all. But obviously Dingy has a different perspective on that because of Pochita, right? I mean, hmm. It's all the devil's fault, huh? Yeah. Interesting. Well, it's just yeah, yeah, he's had that. Hmm. He just has such a different perspective on these things. I guess. Huh. But I wonder if that is naive from Dingy, right? The idea that that's like possible, or hmm. Okay. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Had to assess their quality. Yeah. 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 Exactly. Exactly. I wonder if he can talk to Pochita again in like a weird like dream like that, or not really. I think your dreams will evolve over time. Yeah, you'll get a lot more than that, right? That's kind of like the base level. Yeah, yeah. It's like he's achieved what he imagined being a normal life almost now. Exactly, exactly. Yeah. He started at the bottom, he's working his way up, right? Next step, you gotta have a new thing to do, you know? Yeah, it's something for you to protect as well. Okay, maybe we haven't quite, we're getting there. We're getting there, right? Uh-huh. But yeah, no, you don't have to now. It's like you have a new baseline, right? Right. That could be your new goal. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Perfect. Perfect. Just what we need. That's our new goal. It's better than nothing, right? It's so much better than nothing, right? Sure, sure, sure. Okay, I'm down for it. Buddy. Okay. Okay. Who are you? Oh, okay. So it's not Aki that's his partner. She's a fiend. That's okay. Alrighty. Power. What are you doing, buddy? Come on. Perfect. Of course, of course. Uh-huh. Interesting. God, his unit really is a bunch of oddballs, huh? Hmm. It's of course, of course. Okay, what's up, Power? I've definitely heard of this character before. Sure. Where are you going? She's a little bit hyperactive, it seems. I guess. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I can't tell how serious this attitude she has is, or if she's just trying to like seem the cool. Like calling him human and stuff, that she thirsts for blood. Because if she was actually like that, then I don't think they would have her around. Okay. Sure, sure. I like that shot. Mm-hmm. I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. Oh, trying to get them to fail, maybe. Yeah, yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. That could just be. I can see why Dingy would think of it that way, but who knows? Oh, okay. The smell of blood. All right, let's go. God, she is such a gremlin. Jesus. Okay, I hope we're not biting off more than we can chew. Okay, it's the sea cucumber devil. Like, surely we'll be fine against the sea cucumber. Oh, wow. She really does like blood, huh? What is she, the blood devil or something? Very impressive. Nice. Good job. You got the sea cucumber. I'm proud of you. She is really into it. Oh, is that the end? Really? Oh, it is. Wow. Okay. Hmm. That was a good episode. That was a good episode. No, I like what we're doing with Denji. I'm interested to see like where we're going. I like this song. No, this is really good. I love the art style here. Ooh. Wonder how major of a character he's going to be. Makima. Oh. Ooh, that shot of her pushing over the I love power. I love her. Ordinary life, like something from a dream. Hmm. Okay, that was a really good episode. No spoilers. Alrighty, we will talk about the episode in the discussion. Okay, let's talk about the episode. That was a really good one. I am enjoying where the story is going, like thematically and like for Dingy as a character. I am interested to see, I don't know, where we are going with all of this. There's a lot of like thematic, God, her eyes are terrifying. There's a lot of thematic things I really need to like think about in order to like figure out, I feel like. Like, I guess just at this point, my main question is like, what is a devil? You know what I mean? Like thematically from like a story writing perspective. Because we have some interesting things about that, right? Like Dingy and his whole like his situation with Pochita. He's like half devil, half human, kinda, or he, as Makima phrased it, he's a human who can turn into a devil. We were introduced to fiends in this episode, which is like devils that take over human bodies. And then like we also got some backstory about devils and like the way the society in this universe views them. And like this, you know, as you know, I mean, they're called devils for a reason, right? So many people who have like lost family members, so many people get murdered by them. You know, devils kind of seem to represent this kind of like evil force in the universe, of course. But of course, we know through Denji in Pochita that it's not that simple. And like whatever Dingy is now, whatever it means for Dingy to like be in the situation he's in, like thematically, with this whole like half devil situation, whatever you want to call it, it definitely means something, right? I'm just not sure what it means, what devils like represent in the story, you know? But I'm sure we'll figure it out. I kind of have like some vague ideas. I was trying to think of it in relation to Dingy and like his desperation for survival in a sense, right? Because of course, I mean, I guess we don't know enough about devils, and it certainly seems like the one devil that we really interacted with, which was the zombie devil in the first episode, it seemed like that devil was just kind of like evil. It was just doing evil things for no apparent reason, right? But I just am curious if for devils there is some kind of level of just like needing to survive that like we could relate to like Denji's attitude as well. And that would make sense why Dingy is like half devil in that case too, because he was also in that same situation, like, you know, kind of at a base level fighting for just basic survival, and that's all his life can be, right? When he ran across Pochita in the first episode, that's kind of like what it was too, right? Pochita wasn't evil. Pochita just wanted to like survive, right? And Dingy gave Pochita that opportunity to do that. So I just wonder if other devils are in a similar position, right? That kind of the instinctual need to just like survive is what drives their actions. But we're so early on into the story, I really have no idea. So I'm not locking in with that being my explanation for what a devil is. Anyway, we start off here with Denji and Makima in the car. Denji's stomach grumbles, of course. Makima, it's so easy for her to manipulate him. Like, look at the way he reacts to everything she says. Like, he's over here, his stomach grumbling. When she says anything to him, he reacts like this. Like, he is just the perfect, most, like, easy to be manipulated person ever. From now on, he will be my dog. You may only answer me with yes or woof. Perfect. I have no use for a dog that says no. It seems like, yeah, we euthanize dogs that are no longer useful. It's interesting that at first, Dingy has, like, this reaction to her, right? Saying, like, oh, I thought she was kind, I fell for her, I had no idea she was so scary, she's treating people like dogs. He thinks about how Pochita's dead. But he immediately kind of gets over it. he gets over, like, his thoughts about Makima, not Pochita's death. He gets over, like, his suspicion about Makima very quickly, right? And it's right after he thinks about how Pochita's dead. I wonder, like, obviously, for one, it is, of course, just the fact that Makima, that Dingy is in this position where he, like, lacks basic survival, right? And that's what he wants so badly. So Makima is literally able to just win him over by buying him some food and being kind of nice to him, right? Like, of course, right? That makes sense. Man, I don't know. The question about their relationship at this point is... Oh, and also, of course, her giving him her jacket, right? That's like, man, he can't believe it. Yeah, my whole life people have called me dirty and smelly and avoided me. Certainly not a girl as pretty as her. I'm in love. He can't believe it that she would be this nice to him, right? When all she, like, she didn't really do anything, and all she has done, in my mind at this point, is just in for the purpose of manipulating him, right? My question, of course, is like, why? Like, what does she want to gain from him? I guess the big thing could just be that he is a very, he is a like a crazy thing, right? Like his existence being this weird merged form between a devil and a human, right? They might have just literally never seen anything like that. So she could be very interested in just having him around, right? Um, I'm not sure. Also, so talk about this like thematically from like what I guess we're doing here is like so Denji is someone who's very easily manipulated because he lacks like just basic survival, right? That's what he's looking for. So it's very easy to manipulate him, of course, right? Um, and Makima is doing that. So I don't know if immediately that is something I should be thinking about in terms of like the what the author's trying to say here, right? The idea that if you are in a desperate situation like this, that someone like Makima could very easily manipulate you, right? I mean, I feel like that is kind of a relevant thing to like think about. I'm just not really sure what the point of it is yet. I'm not sure where we're going with it, I guess, you know? Because I guess, so like, what do I think is going to happen between Makima and Denji? I mean, the crazy thing, for one, about their relationship is already Makima is just blatantly telling him, if you don't do what I want, you're going to die, right? Like, she's essentially already threatening him and already being so blatant in her control of him. I just don't even know how it's going to get worse than this. You know what I mean? Like, because what you imagine with like something like this in a story is eventually, okay, Denji's going to realize that she's manipulating him or something, and like he's going to try and break free of it, whatever, right? But it's not like that could ever come from Makima's side, though, right? It's not like she is ever going to suddenly reveal herself to be this evil manipulator to him. At least I don't think, because she is already very blatantly being that, right? And it's entirely just within Denji's mind that he is the one who isn't, like, thinking about it in that way, you know? Because he's just so desperate. He's so desperate for so many things that Makima is so easily able to provide to him, you know? So I guess I'm just curious, like, is it just through Denji's, like let's say we talked about in this episode, right? Like Denji gets a new baseline, essentially, right? At least that's kind of how I imagine it, right? His goal from when he was at rock bottom of his life, he had nothing. His goal was, of course, just basic survival, right? Or even just as he thought about it, just having a normal life, right? Having a normal life is kind of even a step above, right? But just like basic survival, food, shelter, not having the Yakuza want to kill him every day, even though he's not in much of a better situation now. And it's like he kind of achieves that, right? So it's like you can imagine his baseline for what he thinks of as just his life and like his level of desperation day to day has kind of like, it's changed. It's not the same as it was from like episode 1, right? So I just wonder if, as he like evolves as a person and like his life assumedly gets better and he does achieve these things that he wants, he gets more of that normal life he wants, maybe, or even beyond that in his mind, perhaps. Will he eventually realize what Makima is doing to him and the position he's in, right? Like, I guess the eventual conflict we could have is Denji wants to be freed from Makima's essentially like trap that she has put him in here, because the situation he's in now isn't really any better than when the Yakuza was killing him or threatening to kill him. Makima's just kind of like nice about it, and the Yakuza weren't. So we get some food. He's real tired. My pet devil became my heart. I love the way he phrases that, because it's like, yeah, Pochita literally did become his heart in a sense. Both like he was dead and Pochita had like brought him back to life. So we can imagine Pochita being his heart. It's kind of in the center of his chest, like kind of in that place, right? But also Pochita was like literally like the heart of his life, kind of. The entire time he was, living alone with just him and Pochita. It's kind of like all he had, So yeah. I hope he gets to talk to Pochita again. Your condition is almost without precedent. It is interesting that she says almost. Very interesting. It's so uncommon that there's no word for it. Huh. Your friend is alive inside of you. Your body gives off both the scent of a human and that of a devil. And he passes out. I'm still so curious about, like, thematically what a devil, like, is, you know? It's possible it could be representative of, like, many things. And it's more so individual devils that represent, like, things that are more specific. But in that question, it's like, then what? I have to try and come up with a meaning for what the sea cucumber devil is? I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I don't know what the sea cucumber devil could possibly represent. I guess I don't know how I could say the sea cucumber devil represents anything other than just, like, the vague sense of whatever devils represent in general. So maybe, if anything, that's kind of a hint that I shouldn't be looking, like, case by case. Because, like, what's the tomato devil? What am I going to say that represents, you know? I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. And she asks, can you eat it on your own? And of course, he says no. He wants, he wants to be fed. Of course. He's a dog. So it's like what I think he wants from Makima, why I think this situation is so tempting to him, why he falls into it so easily is, we kind of talked about this last time too, but it's just like, he wants something to, like, take control of his life in this sense, right? He has always been controlled, right? Like, that's what the Yakuza guy said, right? That he follows orders, that he's so obedient, right? He's always been controlled, so that kind of is the comfortable position for him to be in, right? Even if, like, his situation with the Yakuza was very negative, and it was, like, terrible, and he hated it, because they were controlling him for his debt and threatening him all the time, I think that level of control, he could still find some kind of comfort in it, because it's like, that gave his life a purpose, right? Like, in this episode, he thinks a lot about how it's like, now he has to come up with a new wish, with something he wants to do, with a new dream, right? He settles on something that is interesting. But it's almost like being controlled by other people, being put in this position by Makima, where his life is essentially just dictated by her and what she wants him to do. It kind of eases, like, the mental load on him having to figure out what he wants to do with his life, you know? And I think it is much easier to, like, deal with that, you know what I mean? Than to be, like, have true freedom and have true, like, reign over his own life, you know? That would be, like, a big step for him to take, because he's never really had that. At least maybe not since, like, early childhood. I guess we don't know what his life was like before his father died, but I kind of doubt it, because then he was just a little kid, you know? So for like longer term for Denji as a character, I guess what we want to see from him is, in this episode, he came up with an idea for what he wants to achieve, like, further, right? It's like he's realized that now he has kind of achieved this baseline level of a life that he thinks he can be, like, happier with, and not just have to struggle for basic survival, right? But, like, longer term, I guess the idea would be that we want him to break free, of course, from the situation that Makima has put him in, right? And then he can, like, I guess, like, truly actually have dreams that he wants to realize for himself, right? That makes sense, right? And he asks her, do you have a type when it comes to men? Like, I feel so bad for him, and she pretends to think while he is staring at her like a lunatic. And she says, someone like this Denji-kun guy. I feel so bad for him that he... Like, imagine what's going on in her mind. That she is thinking she hit the fucking jackpot with this dumbass who is this easy to just walk all over, you know? Like, God. He needs to grow a backbone. I guess, but no, the crazy thing is it's not even that he doesn't have a backbone, right? He stands up to God, what's his name? The dude, Aki is his given name. I forget, like, his family name that they were actually calling him. He stands up to him. He's able to stand up to him pretty well, right? But it's like, what? Is it the position that Makima represents in his life now as his new, like, the new controller of his life, kind of, the same way the Yakuza were before? Is that why it's so, he has this kind of attitude with her? Or is it because in his mind she does represent, like, this, part of this basic survival that he wants so badly, which part of that was being in a relationship, having a girlfriend, right? And he wants that from Makima in a sense, you know. And it's like she can use that to like manipulate him, you know. I don't know how deeply to look into that, but hmm. I love you too, Makima-san. Thank you, thank you. So we're at the Bureau HQ. Looks like a very, very big, fancy building, huh? So there are over 1,000 devil hunters in Tokyo, and yeah, the Bureau offers the best paid vacation time and the best benefits. So there's a bunch of different like agencies that have devil hunters and all of this stuff. I mean, it really is a big cultural thing in this world. You know, devils, I guess, are just everywhere. Hmm. If we become a couple, we can do couple things together. I want to do it so bad. I want to do the things that couples do. And again, I'm not sure from Denji's perspective. I'm not sure how to take this. His desire to date Makima so badly. I'm not sure if I should just look at it from like a more basic, like instinctual level. Like, of course, for most people, just being in a relationship and having that kind of relationship with someone is something that they want pretty badly, right? That kind of is for most people just like a basic instinctual thing that people want from their life. Or I don't know whether I should think of it like more deep in the sense of it being part of the imagined like normal life that Denji really just wants to have. You know what I mean? I guess the question is it really just about Makima and like wanting to like date her and like, you know, he wants to have a girlfriend in that sense of like you know, he wants to do the things you do with a girlfriend, right? Or if it is that the idea of having a girlfriend and like what that represents in his mind, if that is what he really wants, you know? I don't know. I don't know. Huh. Gets on his uniform, doesn't know how to tie his tie. I kind of like that. How he doesn't know how to tie the tie. Makima ties it for him. That kind of as like a just a little that little scene is kind of like a microcosm showing the whole dynamic here, right? How it's like she has things together, she like knows what's going on, and she is controlling his life essentially. And it's like how he isn't helpless, certainly, but he really is. He's kind of a fish out of water in this situation. You know, he has been at rock bottom and has been so lost in his life for so long that someone like Makima is so easily able to manipulate him. You know, she knows how to tie his tie and he doesn't. You know, yeah. Hmm. Hayakawa Aki. He got a pretty cool sword, huh? Been working here for 3 years. Honestly, that's not that long. It's not. I wonder how many devil hunters have like. I assume you probably only do it while you're pretty young. I assume we aren't going to see any like senior citizen devil hunters. You know, it's probably a pretty physically demanding job. So maybe people don't do it for much longer than 3 years. Who knows? I really wanted to look at this painting. Hmm. This painting absolutely means something. You know, like for sure. I just don't know. I'm just not sure. Oh, come on. Go ahead. Go forward. There we go. Um, it's like what? It's like a devil. God, it's hard to even tell like what I'm looking at, right? This is obviously looks like a devil. It has like creepy wings, right? It doesn't look like an angel or anything. It's descending upon someone. Is this looks like water? It looks like an ocean, you know? It's like there's people struggling to get up, you know, people struggling in some sense to like ascend. That kind of feels like it could be thematically relevant to Denji's situation. I wonder, I don't know. Hmm. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You can work with me if you prove you can do a good job. And she ties his tie for him. So show me what you can do. Does Makima-san have a boyfriend? God, he just has no idea how to navigate social situations at all. He just has no idea what he's doing. I feel so bad for him. I just But it's interesting, right? It's like he has this level of desperation for Makima and for like getting a girlfriend, I guess. That is kind of matched by his desperation for like food and shelter, you know? It's like for him, the idea of having a girlfriend and like what that means for him is on that same level, you know? So of course, like he transparently pursues it in like this very very blatant, obvious, shameless way. Because it's like almost in his mind, the idea of having a girlfriend, of dating Makima, is just as important as food and shelter and all of these things, you know? I like that makes sense to me, I suppose, right? And Aki starts beating him up. At first I thought he was beating him up because like he was Denji acting this way about Makima was like dangerous. But no, he's very I don't know. He really he doesn't have Denji's best you know. He doesn't have very good thoughts about him. If you're not serious about this job, you'll be dead in no time. Everyone I've worked with who came for a paycheck now is dead. I mean, maybe, I guess you could say that he is worried about Denji dying, right? That he thinks Denji is so unserious that he's just going to be killed by a devil. So I guess you could say still that he is actually worried about Denji in, like, a sense, right? I think that from his perspective, he is more, like, he's probably kind of offended by Denji's behavior here, right? He takes the job so seriously, right? Obviously. He thinks this is like such a, such a serious profession to be in. So he doesn't want to see Denji acting this way about it, of course, right? Yeah, he himself wants to tell himself that people with deep convictions can only succeed in this job, I'm sure, right? Because for him it's so meaningful, right? His family was killed by devils, right? He doesn't want someone like Denji to show up and like essentially be making a mockery out of it, right? I wonder from him as well if it's like he almost wants to tell himself that the reason he's doing it is for like a deep conviction like this. But you know what? We'll see. We'll see, right? I mean, of course, we know his family has died, but I'm just curious because that seems like such an easy way, such an obvious character arc that he could be going through, or something about his character. You know, we'll see. We'll see. I just wonder if he himself has some kind of other reason for wanting to be a devil hunter as well. I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to say, but who knows? It's not that simple. And Denji fucking owns him like God. Really, it just shows Denji's desperation, right? How he yeah, how he only goes for the balls, of course. It's like such a like savage and uncivilized way to fight, right? Like there's a reason why Aki himself didn't do that, but Denji did, right? Because Denji, for him, it literally is like a point of like basic survival, right? And in a sense, it's like that almost makes you think that in a way, Denji is more serious about it than Hayakawa ever could be, Because for him, it is it's like basic survival is at stake for him, at least in his mind. So like sure, for him it's about like vengeance and killing devils, and he thinks there's a lot of meaning behind the job in that sense, right? But for Denji, it's just different, right? He'll kick you in the balls. And he really doesn't learn his lesson. It's crazy. The balls devil got his balls. I guess. I guess. Like he just walked in here and just thought he would just be able to say that, and that was just like, man. I'm glad to see you're getting along. Huh. So Denji is joining Hayakawa's unit. Got a bunch of weirdos in there. It's an experimental unit rather than to conform to the standards and conventions. Huh. He's a human, but he can also turn into a devil. I just think that line is very interesting, right? The way that she phrases it seems so interesting. Saying that he's human, but he can turn into a devil, right? Because, like, from my perspective, I think of him as, like, having, like, merged with Pochita, right? It's like this devil is, like, part of him, right? But the way she phrases it, it's like this, she separates the two. I still don't know what being a devil means, so I don't know how to look into it any deeper than that. But just when I read this line, that is a clear distinction that I feel like it has to mean something, right? He's getting special treatment. If he quits the Bureau or commits any offense, he would be treated as a devil and eliminated. Of course, of course. He's really not free, yeah. I wonder if Hayakawa kind of feels more bad for him after this. I don't know, because his attitude towards him kind of does change, you know? I imagine it does, right? It's almost like his recognition that for Denji, this is also now is like literally about survival, you know? Hmm. If you're a devil, just be grateful she's letting you live. After all, we're devil hunters. And it's interesting from his perspective, he just says that Denji is a devil, right? Very different than the way Makima phrased it, you know? Huh. Is she a good person? Of course she is. She saved my life. So Hayakawa is another person that Makima... That, yeah, like what I think about here is it's like he's yet another person that you could almost wonder if Makima like manipulated in the same way, right? It's interesting now that there's like several people that Makima has that only are alive or like allowed to stay alive because of Makima, right? Denji, of course. Power, in a sense, as well. Power's kind of in the same situation where Makima could just murder her. Instead, she lets her live, right? And then Hayakawa as well. She saved his life, apparently. So it's interesting how all of these characters, it's like you could imagine them having gone through similar things, right? And it's interesting how those shots right here, it's almost like it makes you as the viewer think about that, but then Denji is stupid. And he just like what? He just thinks about, oh, Makima's such a nice person. Like, I don't know. He puts all this jam on here. He's really overdoing it. That looks disgusting, to be honest. But he's living it up. He has never had a life like this before, right? Unimaginable. Man, he'll get better, I'm sure. He will get better as his life continues on normally. What I was thinking about during this episode, but it's just something interesting to think about because I'm really not sure. Most people are never in a situation like Denji, right? Most people, but probably most people watching this video, maybe saying most people like globally, there are a lot of people who have shitty lives, unfortunately. Most people who are watching this video, probably, you have never really been in a situation like Denji was, where like your basic survival was at stake every day, right? And the Yakuza was threatening you and you could barely eat and all of this crazy shit was going on, right? Most people, they go through life and like those basic, like, being alive isn't really a threat every day, you know? And I just wonder if from Denji's perspective, having experienced that, I wonder if that feeling of desperation for, like, survival, if it ever will, like, go away. Or because he's, like, experienced living like that and experienced his basic survival and his basic needs being threatened every day. If he's always going to have that kind of attitude about it and always have, like, this desperation to, like, maintain those things, you know? Because so many people just take it for granted, right? That it's like, oh, yeah, I mean, my life might suck. I might have to work a bunch, and I might, you know, I have to pay rent and all of this, and blah, 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 blah. But you don't really have to worry about starving to death or, like, what you're going to eat tomorrow. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting to think about if that kind of, like, feeling, once you've experienced it, if it ever truly goes away, you know? So we've got a fiend. What? Did you not go to school or something? No. A devil that's taken over a human's corpse. That's a fiend. Him talking about school, I wonder if, like, normally to be a devil hunter, if you have to, like, go to college or something, right? You have to get a degree in devil hunting. So it's a devil that's taken over a human's corpse, which, yeah, sounds very similar to, like, Denji, right? You have to assume, of course, that it has something to do with, like, Pochita's attitude about it, right? That it's, like, the devil themselves who decides to take over the corpse, if they can decide whether to, like, take it over, or if they can decide to, like, be assimilated by the human, and, like, you know, have Denji still exist the same way Pochita did, you know? That's kind of what I imagine, right? So Denji cuts this guy's head off. And I mean, like, he wanted to give it a quick and painless death. And he says at the end of the scene that he was making all of that up and he just didn't want to get the porn magazines dirty. I don't really believe him. I don't really believe him at all, honestly. I really think that on some level this really was what he was, like, thinking, right? I really do. Because if anything, this does frame his perspective on demons as being completely different, right? Or devils. I keep saying demons. Devils. It frames it very differently, right? He has a very different perspective on it because of Pochita, right? He hasn't experienced the same kind of loss, right? His entire family was killed by a devil right before his eyes. He hasn't experienced that, right? So many people's their lives have been ruined by it, you know? I want to kill devils in the most painful way possible. But Denji, yeah, if there's a devil who wants to be my friend, I'm down. I feel like this is inching us closer to understanding what a devil is thematically. But I'm just still not sure. I'm still not sure. I'm still not sure. But it's like, even that, like him saying, I don't have any friends, so of course I would be friends with the devil. That still plays back into the general theme of like Dingy not having the same things that other people have and having this desperation for the basics that most people like take for granted, right? Like even friends, of course he wouldn't turn his nose up at a devil because like, yeah, he doesn't have any friends. He needs friends, right? Going to remember you said that. Huh. Man, that made him snap. I actually just didn't want to get blood on these porno mags. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Hmm. So he thinks here about his dreams and about the future, right? His dreams have come true. It's like he's gotten his basics, right? He thinks about how Hayakawa in that moment. He thinks about how it's like he still has a dream in a sense, right? It's hard to call what Hayakawa has a dream rather than just like a motivation, right? Like his dream, I guess you could say, is to go out and murder all the devils, but like kind of. Really, he has a motivation that is driving him to do that, right? It's like his motivation was, of course, what devils did to his family, right? I feel like those two things are kind of different, right? What Dingy needs is like a dream, right? He's gotten the basics down, right? His basics of survival that he thinks he needed to maybe achieve like the normal life. Maybe he's already achieved that in his mind. Hard to say. I mean, he says his life is 10 out of 10 now, but it feels like something is missing, right? He needs a goal. He needs a dream. He needs something to achieve. That is kind of something that everyone essentially, for your life to have any kind of meaning at all, you need something to look forward to. You need something to work towards. You need a dream, right? For him, it must be something to do with revenge, maybe. I don't think that's a very good answer. For those guys, it's to protect their families. I suppose. That's still the idea of protecting your family. The problem with that is that's not something that you can like achieve, right? That's just kind of like a baseline like motivation. That's something you just never want to happen, is your family to die, right? There's never a day where if your goal is to protect your family, where you're like, okay, my family has now been protected and I have achieved that, right? That's kind of a never-ending like thing that you're always going to want to be doing, right? Hmm. I wonder if Makima has something like that. Probably. So his goal, I gave up a long time ago because I didn't have a chance in hell, but now that I've got a proper job, it's a different story. My chances of going all the way are still slim, but if it's just boobs. With a little confidence and determination, I could be fondling boobs. You know what? Like, I guess that can be his goal. It's better than nothing, right? It makes me concerned because I think that plays into Makima's hand a lot, right? Like if his goal is centered around Makima and that's how he wants to achieve this, I don't think that's good, right? Because I think that's gonna, help her manipulation of him further. Um, but I don't know, huh? But hey, yeah, that's a goal. That's a goal he can achieve, right? The problem with this goal is I think he is going to be maybe not disappointed by it, but I don't think it's very like meaningful in the long run, right? But maybe he's just too it's too early for that, right? We need something achievable. Is this achievable? Maybe this is achievable for him in the short term. I I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I don't know. It's a good start. It's a good start. So Denji gets assigned his partner. It is Power, and Power is awesome. So I don't know. She's very cool. Um, I love her. She's great. I don't know if her attitude that she's putting on is like, I can't tell if this is genuinely like just the way that she is, or I don't know. I guess this is genuinely just the way that she is. I just think she's like playing it up, like this whole like craving for blood and like this crazy, I don't know. I don't know. Because I think if she was really like this and she was really like a bloodthirsty demon in the way that she's acting, they probably wouldn't feel fine keeping her around and not eliminating her. Right? So, I don't know. I don't know. I love her though. She's great. She's great. So they gotta produce some results or they'll die. Hmm. I mean, I guess we gotta remember that this is just the corpse of a human that she has like taken over. I guess that's kind of dark to think about, but sure. Hmm. I can forgive some amount of annoyingness for a pretty face, but how do I touch her boobs? So, Dingy, the problem with that line of thought is that's just not how anything works. That is just not a good way to like start a relationship with someone is thinking this, right? I feel like this isn't going to get you anything that you want if this is how you're thinking about things, right? You gotta like form a natural relationship with someone, you know? I think it makes sense he would have that attitude about it. But I don't know. I don't know. Huh. Before I became a fiend, I was a much feared devil. Small fry flee the moment they catch a whiff of my scent. I don't know if I believe her. It feels like it would be a her thing to do to try and talk up how powerful she is. you know? And I don't know if that's what he's doing either. I don't know. Because I think Hayakawa actually did kind of have a change of heart about all of this, about Denji, once he realized that his actual life is at stake, right? I don't think he would actually be interested in making Denji fail so then he gets executed, you know? I don't think he would want that, right? But she smells blood, and off we go to kill the sea cucumber demon, and she does it. She succeeds. Behold my accomplishment. Very nice. Very good. Very good. And that's the end of the episode. That was a good episode. That was really good. I really, really have been enjoying this. The ending was very good. Yeah, very nice. Very cool. People told me that there's like a different ending every episode, which is like crazy. I really loved this one. So a lot of the lyric I read some of the lyrics, right? Like this shot we see Makima, we see Denji, and then there's her like pushing over these like dominoes, it's like her setting something into motion, it's like framing her in that way. I think that makes a lot of sense. Huh. Yeah, really good, really good. I guess that is it. So please subscribe if you enjoy my videos. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think, and I will see you in the next one.